Howdy folks, I know it's been a while. Life has been getting in the way as usual. I just wanted to give us a bit of a status update today, run through some tech step stuff, and then maybe go through a box of logic boards that we have from the big haul, go through, test, check if they're doing okay, and get them ready for sale, either local or eBay or whatever we end up posting them. First and foremost, let's bring up the overhead. IICI board. So, where I left off with this was the machine was turning on. It would start to boot, and then partway through the boot process, it would give an error. Took me a while to figure out what was going on here. See if I can actually get myself centered a little bit better on the camera. That'd be nice. Can we do that? Yay, we can. Okay, so what it ended up being, after a lot of poking around, was not any of the main chips. It was, in fact, one of the chips that isn't required for boot up. It was the new bus transceiver chip. I think it was UG4. Might have been this guy. I think it was this one. Had a little bridge on it. So basically, once I determined that all my other soldering was good, I started taking off components that I didn't need. And fortunately, the very first one I pulled off happened to be the one that was causing the problem. So with that off, machine booted up, put it back on, machine continued to boot up. So no more bridge. And to show you that that is what is happening, switch over to our HDMI. And I don't know why that is not showing up. There we go. Let's boot this up. Power helps. Happy chime. And there's our happy Mac. And there we go. We got a desktop. So I'll move the mouse so you can actually see it. And yeah, let's get the trash can back where it should be. It's one thing I hate about classic Mac OS is it had no sense of aligning icons whatsoever. But yeah, so this is now up and functional. I wanted to hit it with the tech step today and do some testing to see that we have no other weird problems like a serial port problem or a printer port problem or what have you. But 2 megs of memory installed over 8 SIMs. Thanks again to Will from KMac for giving me the SIM sockets here. I was completely out, so I had to salvage from the other boards. So this was very nice of him to provide some, so I didn't have to go with plastic for this board. It actually has the metal clips on these. Although, unfortunately for me, bring up the overhead cam again just to show you. This ROM socket, I have none left. I had to go with the original, and the original was plastic. So it is what it is, but at least it works. Now, turn that off. And I'm going to unplug this for a second. So that's the state of this IICI board. Now, as you know, Craig bought a bunch of these boards from BuyE last year sometime. This adapter. There we go. So this is one of 3 boards. I showed building this one on the channel. What I did not show until now are these 2 other ones that I built. So they had some challenges as well. This one in particular, let's see if I can zoom in a bit here. Give me a second. Should be able to. Hopefully without it going all blurry. There we go. Perfect. Hey, Craig. Oh, sorry. Hi, Will. K-Mac. Vintage. I thought you said Craig. Yeah, I'm just going over the 2CI boards here. So this is board number 2. This is the one that would turn on but go straight to death chimes most of the time. Every once in a while when I fiddled with memory, I could get it to start to boot and then it would stop booting. As it turns out, like, I checked everything all over this board. I looked for bridges, I looked for missing connections, I looked for everything. I tried swapping chips. Didn't help anything. Finally just took out all the memory here. And these are memory sockets that I had from the original board. I remember the original board had problems booting as well. What it turned out to be, when I took a closer look, and I'll bring this up under the scope so people can see it a bit better. Let's see. Get this lined up. Microscope. Should be microscope, is it not? Just select it, reselect it. There we go. Get that to focus. There. So when I took a closer look at these sockets, and I should have done this inspection before I soldered them to the board, but of course, you know, live and learn. Some of these had been damaged. They were literally folded on top of each other, so it was never going to make a really good connection. And it wasn't just, you know, one socket, of course. It was all 4 sockets had at least 1 or 2 of these pins that had been damaged. Now, I don't think I did that because this was the same symptom we saw on the original board when I was trying to boot it up. It sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. So in the end, what I ended up doing is I ended up removing these off of the new PCB and taking out all of the damaged pins one by one. Fortunately, this is one you can repin. I found an old plastic ROM sim socket that had the same type of pin, and I just repinned all of them. So all 4 of these got repinned with a certain number of pins, put them back on, and now, well, I guess I should show you. It boots up and works just fine as far as I can tell so far. But that's why we'll be doing the tech step later to prove that everything is in fact working as it's supposed to. So just get this guy hooked up. Fortunately, this little adapter requires that I turn the left pin in, otherwise it won't let me actually connect anything. Oh, I should mention, 2 of these boards, unfortunately, have the short audio jack on them for a moment. The original jack, when I took it off, was so corroded, excuse me, the pins just fell apart in my hand as I got it out of the board. I mean, they were just green. There was nothing left. I did find these online. They're not great. They match the footprint, but they don't match the height. So if I'm going to sell these, I want the original height so that when people put them in their case, that it actually works and, you know, is accessible like it should be. But in any case, let's get this guy booted up. So we'll switch over to capture. Do power on. I got 4 megs in here, I think. Should boot the desktop. Oh, no, because I didn't hook up the SCSI. That would do it. Let's try that again. Keyboard would be nice too. Let's get that. And again. There we go. Happy Mac. Let her load. Get all my partitions going. And there we go. Be nice if that would stay. Oh well. So yeah, that's 2 boards that are up and running. Now see, turn off your Macintosh. Yep. And then let's grab the 3rd one here. So this one was the bad RAM sockets. And then the 3rd one, should go back to overhead here. So this guy actually booted up first try. The problem he ran into is when it booted up, it had a black background instead of the gray screen for boot. And then, yes, it would get to the desktop, but the desktop looked like inverted. Everything was black. So I actually ended up using AI to help me troubleshoot that because I'm not very familiar with the IICI architecture. And what AI suggested was one of 3 things. It said it could be the RBV, it could be the MDU, or it could be the VDAC, which I believe was up here. Yeah. So, of course, knowing my luck, I thought I better take the bigger chip off first. So I started by removing the RBV. I had a spare from a 2SI board, which is what's on here now. No difference. I went, okay, let's try the MDU. So I took the MDU off, put the one on from the 2SI. No difference. Took the VDAC off, took the VDAC from the 2SI, and of course it was the VDAC. It was the smallest chip of the 3. So in retrospect, I wish I had started with the small one rather than focus on the 2 big ones. But I know for a fact, if I had done this one, it definitely would have been one of the other chips. Because that's how it always works. So let's boot this guy up. See, I don't like this adapter. It is a good adapter because it really works well with my setup, but it is a bad adapter because in order for the VGA cable to sit in here properly, I have to screw in at least the left side. If I do that, then everything is happy and everything makes a nice tight connection. If I don't do that, everything gets upset and starts causing me problems. So SCSI adapter, sound, and ADB. Right, let's switch that back to here. Power. And power on. Happy Mac. And we should get video. Top video not showing what you are doing. Which one is that? Because I should have the desktop up right now, I'm hoping. And then the overhead should look like that. Straight down with me in the corner. So, I mean, to me it looks like things are showing up, but I'll need more description if there's something I'm missing. Okay. Top camera. Overhead camera? So when I do overhead camera like this, according to what I'm seeing right now, I see a top-down view on the motherboard. Are you not seeing that? Because it should be. Might have to disconnect it and reconnect it if that's the case. Switch. Is that better? Nothing connected. Oh, well, I I see my hand over top of the logic board. So I don't know what to tell you there. It looks like it works from my end. Doesn't mean it. Oh, now you see. Okay. Usual. Turn it off, turn it on again, and then it works. I'll turn this back on. Oh, it's on. Okay, let's go back to this view then. So yeah, we've got 3 machines. Oh, I don't know if I got a mouse on this one. I should, but I'm not seeing one. That or... Oh, we might actually have a flaw in this one. Let's try this. Turn it off. Switch to the other port. Because I just noticed the mouse didn't move. Or my HDMI capture has now decided that it is not capturing anything. That's awesome. Okay, let's try this. That one. Do I have a mouse now? Yes, I do. Okay. Apparently all my equipment has been sitting for so long it's decided it has to be rebooted before it works. That's awesome. So I don't have any new bus cards to connect today. I would like to get to that point because I do want to test all these ports, make sure they are working. I don't have a cache card or a accelerator to test this socket either, which I guess I could show on the camera. So I don't have the cache card for these, so I have no way of testing this right now. I have no way of testing these right now. Craig is going to come by at some point and loan me a few cards so we can hopefully get this fully tested out. But what I can do, at least for the moment, is grab the tech step and we'll go and start doing some testing, at least with this, to make sure everything is working from its perspective. So, oh, actually, before we do that, I do want to give one more update. Where did I put that? That is over here. So, the Macintosh Classic Reloaded that I was working on a while back, we finished this off, and then when I tried to boot it up with SCSI, it would not boot SCSI. So, this is another one I ended up putting to the side for a bit because it was a low priority. Finally picked it back up earlier this week. I checked all my connections. There were no problems anywhere that I could see related to SCSI. RTC was fine. I tried actually swapping chips from a known board that worked. Everything still refused to boot off of SCSI. What it ended up being with this one, after a lot of humming and hawing, the swim chip was missing one connection on one pin. So I spent all my time looking at the SCSI, looking at the RTC, looking at all the things related to the SCSI path, and it was the swim chip that had a problem. Now, if I bring this up, turn that around so you guys can see it. Okay. So I'll plug that in. Grab our blue SCSI. And shouldn't need sound for this one, but I'll throw it on anyway, because why not? Okay, and then I just see power, which should be right here. And let's see if I can get a different angle going here. Second camera is not going to work. I need main camera. And let's try image, focus. Can I zoom in? Should have a zoom. There we go. Okay. So, make sure nothing's touching that shouldn't be. Turn that on. Get our chime. It's got 4 megs installed, so it's going to take a second. Mouse cursor. And now it's booting off SCSI. So all that troubleshooting all around the SCSI components wasn't anything to do with them. It was the swim chip that was causing me problems on this. Let it fully boot up here. It's actually not a bad CRT in this one. It's pretty bright. This is a little bit slower. There we go. So yeah, I finally have that one resolved. So things are getting completed. It's taking longer than I would like, but you know, that's just how it works sometimes. So let's pull this out. Put that up there and get this guy out of the way. We will do a tech step on him as well, but I want to check these 2CI boards first and foremost because I'm eager to get them all done up, tested. Now, let's see, switch back to that one. So I'm going to hook up our tech step. I honestly don't remember which one is the printer port and which one's the modem port on the 2CI, so I'll probably get this wrong the first time. Let's see. I want to say modem. Oops. Modem. Printer. ADBs. And sound. Okay, now what I'd like to do is I'd like to switch my view over to the tech step so that we could see that. I'll have to rearrange things here a bit. Let's do this. It's a big board. Okay. Let's see. You can see the tech step that way, although upside down. What I would like is I want to do this one, but with my overhead camera, which is this one. Let's do this. I want to move that over here. I want to paste this one, shrink it. And I should be able to shrink that a little bit more. Let's do it this way. Oops. we go. There, no. Don't grab the background. I want you to grab the foreground. Thank you. Okay, so that way we can see the overhead and we can see this. All right, so power. Yep, that's working. So turn that off and we'll let the text step power it up. So on. Things on page 3, yep. I need to zoom that in so you guys can see it a little bit more. It's a little small for you. And can I move that camera over? There we go. There we go. Okay, so we can see what I'm selecting here. And back. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Try that again. Fortunately, it's a little hard for me to see now. Yes, I know. Come on. Down, down, down. Select. Isn't that my select? Yes, it is. Okay. Down to CI. I want test mode. Terminate. Attempting to enter test mode. Now I might have these reversed. Could not establish communication. Okay. So we'll swap these. Back. Test mode. Attempting to enter test mode. Could not. Okay. Well, that's not a great start. Make sure I still get the boot up chime. I didn't do something silly. Like that for a second. Yeah, it's still definitely booting up. Am I still getting video? Yeah, still getting video. So, we're getting no communication currently with the text step. Everything should be plugged in. I'll try it one more time. I don't have a real PSU, unfortunately, for the 2CI. We sold the one 2CSI that we had a power supply for. Do I have anything else? What else is compatible? Would a 2SI power supply work? Because I do have a real one of those. I just want to try it one more time here. Well, do you remember on the 2CI, is it the modem is closest to the video or is the modem closest to the audio? Because I'm just wondering if I have those cables in the right spot or not. 3, 2CI, 2CI. And test mode should be 3. Yeah, it's definitely powering it up. Terminate. The have... Oh, really? The adapter? That'd be interesting. I'd have to check that. Do not recall. Hang on. What if I... Let's check something here, if I can find it. Yeah, it should be down here. Would your... Would this little guy tell me if it has a -5? Or is this only going to tell me if it's got +5? The ATX. Yeah, I'm not sure about the ATX either. I should be able to connect this up. I have nothing else. I should get some reading. Yeah, +12, -12, 5 volts. That's all it tells me. It doesn't tell me about the other one. Well, that's problematic. I don't have any other ATX power supplies around at the moment. No, I don't have another ATX power supply. And even if I do, it's a newer model inside a computer right now, so there's no way I can take that out. Okay. Well, we know we're getting good voltage on this anyway. Use the 2SI. -5 down on the floppy port. Yeah, that's kind of what I feared. Let's see if I can grab the 2SI power supply. Where are you? There you are. Now, I gotta remember how to pull this out. Well, let's bring that in with me. So people can watch me struggle in live, real time. Okay, so we got a 2SI with the power supply. Where did I put my tools? I had a spudger somewhere. This should work. Oh man, these things. Here. Getting these out is a pain in the butt. I do not like it. Come on. It's going to be that way, huh? Got it. Okay. All right. So we got a 2SI power supply. Cables right now. I've got the modem is closest to the audio. This might be wrong. I don't know. Off. Which way does this go on here? Does it go this way or this way? Find something non-conductive. Yep, I got it. It's just always a pain. Depends on how long that power supply's been sitting in there, is how long it likes to cling on for. Okay, got some non-conductive material here. Push this thing out of the way. There we go. In. Yep, I think I've got it right. Yeah, it slid in. At least I have something to prop it up a little there. I will need to grease this chair at some point because boy is it ever moaning at the moment. Yeah, it's a little too tall. Well, we'll try this. See what it thinks. Okay, so go down, 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 select. Okay. Haven't even picked one yet. And test mode 3. Power off. Yep. I don't know why you want to do it. Turn on. Okay. Terminate. Could not enter. So I might have this backwards still. Let's turn that off. Okay, so swap them. Okay, back. And we've got power. And we want test mode 3. Attempting to enter, could not communicate. So that's even with the original one. Could not enter SCSI test mode. Okay, let me go back. Turn it off. That on-off is not working very well. It should be off. Instead it's rebooting. I don't know that that switch is very good. Let's try this. Back. Let's try it from completely off. One more time. Select. You're booting it up before I even makes my selection, which seems odd. IICI. Test mode 3. I'm not even getting a chance to terminate the SCSI. Yeah, I know. Terminate SCSI. No, could not communicate. Alright. Not a voltage issue. Nope. I would say there's something going on. So let's try another board. Get that out. Okay. So we'll, for the printer port, is that closest to the video? Yes or no? because that's one I need to figure out, because I'm sure I probably plugged that in wrong, because I just don't remember which one's right, to be honest. I could probably look it up if I have to here. If you remember offhand, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so we'll come back to this. There is something going on with those ports. Let's try board number 2. So this is the one that had the bad RAM sockets. Okay. Get SCSI in here. I do not recall. Okay, I'll see if I can find a photo. Because I don't have a 2CI here, to be honest. Let's see. Should be the one. Printer is by the video. Modem is by the audio. Okay. That would do it. Printer is closer to the video. So that one goes here. Of course, the other thing I'm going to have to verify is that my cords are all good. I think they worked last time I used them. I think. ADBs. We'll use that 2SI power supply again. Okay, contacting. Good. So, 3, 1. All right, we're gonna need power. Have we got this? Nope, we're not lined up anymore. Let's line that up again. Okay. And then we want test mode number 3. Terminate. Communications established. Okay. So that's better on this one. Guess I could hook up the audio this time. Oops. Okay. Now we want to do number 5. If it'll let me. 5. There we go. And I want to do all. There we go. Pass. That's a good start. 4 meg. Swim. No, all sims. Okay. Via. Pass. Clock. Pass. PRAM. Pass. ADB. Pass. SEC. Let's see. This one takes a while, if I remember. It's been a while since I've had to use this, to be honest. Pass. All right, that's good. SEC is one I tend to worry about. I did plug in the sound. Good. Let's see if it passes. Fail. You failed on my sound? I know we're getting sound. It's plugged in. Where was sound? Page down. Page down. Sound is number 5. So it passed every other test, but it doesn't like my sound, even though I know I'm getting sound. Amp 1 high. Fail. I've never had that one before. That's common on the 2CI. Really? Amp 1 high. I've never seen that before. That's interesting. All right, so we know that works with the 2SI power supply. Now I want to switch this off. And I'm going to try mine and see if it's able to communicate, because that will answer a question of whether or not that power supply has -5. So this out of the way, this back in, power back up, and text up. Okay, so 2CI number 1, and test mode. Terminate. Communications established. Okay, now I want to do the same number. No, actually I want to do specific test. So 5 for logic. It's the SCC that will fail if it doesn't have -5, right? I think it's SCC number 1. Let's try that. It's actually easier to read it on the screen than it is to read it in real person here, with the light straight down on it. Did I pick the wrong test? Serial COM test. I thought I selected SCC. Oh, let it finish. That one passed. Okay. Yeah, that was SCC. That was number 1. So it looks to me like that power supply is good for testing. And that this board is definitely working. So that's great. So turn that off. Grab my label maker. And we'll label this one working tested. Great. That's one. I'll come back to the other board here later, and we'll see if we can figure out what's going on. It's probably those same common chips, I'm guessing. I'll have to check for bridges. If there's no bridges, then it's more than likely bad. Was it? The two 26L30s or the other ones, the little ones. One of those two would probably have gone bad, I'm betting. Okay. There we go. So this board tested working great. Still need to do new bus tests on that, but that's okay. All right, next one. So this is our board with the close-up RAM sockets. Let's get this all hooked up again. ADB. And the printer was closest to the video. Right. Okay. There we go. All right, power off, good. Power on. Power on. Still lined up. Good. Everything's connected. 3. Down. Number 1. Test mode number 3. Terminate SCSI. Communications established. So 1 board out of 3 is being stubborn. Okay, logic tests all. Run. Okay, let's see how it does. Testing sims. VIA test. Clock test. ADB test. SCC, okay. That's the one that always has me worried. Just takes so long. Interesting, a little bit. Oh, it passed. All right, excellent. SCSI, pass. Swim, pass. See if it does the same as the other one for sound. Yeah, same as the other one. But okay, everything else passed. So that's great. 2 of them are pretty much done then. It's just the last one I gotta figure out what's going on there. So let's print this off. Tested working. Nice. All right, so 2 of them are good. 1 needs more examination. This is an off position, good. Excellent, all right. I think I still have some chips I can steal off that 2SI if I do need to replace the chips related to the SCSI port, but we'll find out pretty quick. I think my focus today is going to be on getting things tested. If I find stuff that has faults, that'll be a separate repair session. There we go. All right, so these 2 are good. I'm going to put that 2SI power supply back where it belongs because we clearly don't need that for testing. Nice. That's good news. That means I can use this power supply on all those adapters, and it should work based on what we saw here. All right, let's test that Mac Classic board. Okay. All right. How am I going to be able to put this together? Let's see. That in. It's nice getting this one sorted out too. This one's been on the back burner for a while. So finally being done is nice. Well, he says that, and then we'll see what actually happens when I try and test this. That. I do have the printer port is closest to the serial. Okay. Printer port is closest to the SCSI port. Okay, and it goes. And then modem and sound. There we go. We won't be able to see anything this way, so what can I switch to? Let's see. Overhead cam. Let's zoom that out a little. There we go. Okay, so we got the board, we've got the tech step, and I just need power. So, okay, if I remember correctly, we have to go in here first. Classic? Yes. Number 1 is classic. Oh, I could zoom in a little bit. That's a little far away now. Yeah. So number 1 is classic. So select number 1. Nothing's touching. Good. All right. That's not what I wanted. Test mode 2. Turn on CPU. Okay. Terminate SCSI. logic. Oh. See how that does. It's 4 megs to test, but it is a classic, so that's probably going to take a second. Yeah, we got the unhappy Mac on the screen, to be expected. This is a very long time for this amount of memory. I don't know how long it should take. It's 4 megabytes. I don't know, Will, how long does it usually take for a classic to finish? Oh, never mind, it just did. Alright, SEC, let's see. This takes a while on an 030. I imagine it takes even longer on a 68,000. Nice. Okay. And then sound test, last test. And it failed again. I know it's getting sound. Maybe it just does not like my cable. Do I have another cable I can use? Let's see. I have a very, very long cable. I could try that one. I don't know why I would have a problem with this cable, but it's possible. Because I have had sound tests pass before, I just don't remember if it was this cable I was using or a different one. Okay, so back, down, down, sound. Really does not like my cables or something, just keeps failing. But I know it's getting working sound. I've played games on this and everything. So that's odd. In any case, I'd say it's working. It's just the sound that's very strange. So 3 out of 4 boards are happy with the tech step. So that's good. Take my long cord back. I'll have to do another session with that IICI and figure out what's going on with that. But good news is, there we go. We got more boards to look at today. Let me go grab that. I don't know how many we will be able to power up, because it depends on if I have the power supply here or not, or an adapter that'll work. But for now, let's at least go through and take a look at what we have here. Move this Classic back out of the way. It's a good little CRT. I like that one. Move the tech step for a moment. All right. So, switch back to this. What I have is this big old box from our purchase of the big haul. And I think we went through these, let's see if I can get this one more in camera. I think we went through these at least once before and tested everything, but nothing got labeled. Unfortunately, it was just a quick test. So let's see what we got. I'm going to readjust this camera. Not that way, this way. There we go. So, flagship 110 megahertz. I'm guessing that's the 8100. I do not have an 8100 power supply here at the moment, so we won't be able to test that. I'll give everyone 3 guesses what this is. Yeah, it's a G5. This is a 2004. So, again, I do not have a power supply that will work with this, so we will not be able to test this today. And it's not a G5 then if it's 2004, is it? I'll have to check the dates. What do we got here? By the looks of it, let's pull it out here. It's got the connector. I'm going to say this is another 8100 board. Yep. That is. So nothing we can do with this one either. We have... Oh, there's actually a label on this one. Let's see. Tested works. This is a 6100, I think. Yep, Power Macintosh 6100. That's got the funky connector. Hey, Will, do you know if the connection for the 6100 is the same as the, what was that again? That little adapter you sent me. Let's see if I can bring it out here. Where did I put that adapter? Probably the other side. There it is. Yeah. I'm going to guess it's not. And the reason I say that is if we get this to focus, I don't know if it will. There we go. The number of pins is different. I thought it was the same for a second, but there's actually 9 pins on this. There's only 6 pins on this one, so never mind. Dang, that would have been helpful. Would have been very helpful. So I can't test that right now either. I'm striking out everywhere here. What do we got? Oh, loose memory. Well, that's not a great thing. How did loose memory happen? We have another 6100 board. Its RAM is for some reason popping out of it. And I will not be able to test this either. There's no label on this one. There was a label on the last one, Tested Works. Oh, there is a label here. Tested Works, it says. Before or after the RAM started popping out of its socket, that's a question. So if anyone needs 6100 boards, please let me know. We seem to have a surplus. What is this? I'm going to say that is a Mac Plus. Oh no, it's a 512. Okay, so we have a 512 here. This I can test. I do have a Mac Plus chassis. They use the same power, so I can test this one. There's nothing inside to say if it was tested or not. Yay, we got one for the test file. What have we got here? An 040. Ooh, well, it's still got that 9-pin connector. So we've got a 040, 25 megahertz. It's in that same sort of form factor as the 6100. I should know this model, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. I do not have this power adapter, so that has to go into the can't test today pile. Okay, here we go. Got something else. Tested boots with 2 megabytes. I'm guessing this is a plus. Let's see. Yep, that's a plus for sure. We can test this. Okay, that is good. Tested boots with 2 megabytes. So that would be another plus. Oh, it's even got some memory loaded in this one. We can test that. The reason I want to retest it is if, well, the reason I wanted to retest it is if it would work with the tech step, but those are all pluses. Don't think that's going to work because I don't think that uses the port I need. So that's no good. What do we have here? Tested Works, PowerPC. '95, '96, and 8200751A. I don't know if that's a 6300 or a 5500 or a 5400, but PowerPC means it also won't work with the tech step, which sucks. So that's unfortunate. It does say tested works, so that means at least we got it to boot into an operating system. But that's about as far as we got, by the sounds of it. What do we got here? Well, we've got another 040. Tested. Successful boot. That is probably a 630 CD with a 33 megahertz processor. So, doesn't do us any good, unfortunately, for today. But hey, we've got them. Another PowerPC board. Tested working. What is this one? This is a 8200751-A. Yeah, the adapter is for the LC type, not 6100. That's unfortunate. I really wish I had one for that as well, because apparently we have a few of those boards to test at some point. Retest, anyway. What do we got here? Another 040, I guess against a 630 CD. 630 CD. I don't know. Is that in the tech step? I don't know if those are. They're still 040 processors, so they might be. Another plus. Yeah. At least installed the diode on this, so that's nice of me. So there's no point retesting those because we can't use a tech step on them. I was really hoping to have a tech step day today. Another 512. There's no sticker, so I don't know if these have been tested or not. Ooh, what do we have here? Looks like an Apple IIe board. No sticker. I definitely do not have this power supply here, so that can't be tested at the moment. Ooh, a new bus card. What have we got here? Mac King 2 Monoterm Corp. Well, I won't be able to use that for testing 2CI, unfortunately. Dang. Had me excited, might be able to do a test I really want to do. Very big board. What do we got? 1996. An 8200858B. What is this, a 7300? Might be a 7300 board. Got nothing here for testing that. Got an AUI adapter. Don't need that's no stuff right now. And the last one here is what? Well, it's got new bus. It's got a regular video. I'm guessing this is an 8500. Let's see. Any markings? Oh! No, it's not. This is an 040. Didn't see that before. And it's got the same connector as a 2CI. So what would this board be? It's got two X's on the ADB ports. Fun. I wonder who wrote those on. I also wonder what speed this 040 is. So I'm curious, would this work with our power adapter? An 040 with new bus slots. It's a very large board, and only 2 SIMs are populated. It's an 8200380A, 1992. Let's see if we can figure out what board this is. I'm curious if it's using the same power connection or not. 820-0380-A. Quadra 650. Okay. Is a Quadra 650 compatible with our power adapter? That's the next question. says no video memory installed. Do I have some video memory for it? Well, it has some memory on board, so I imagine it has some video. Well, in theory, this one is compatible with our IICI adapter. At least based on what AI is telling me right now. So, I might risk it. Be interesting to see. Let's put these boards back. So unfortunately, this is not going to be as much testing as I hoped, because I wanted to use the tech step and actually test out a bunch of boards, verify they're ready to go, and start getting some stuff listed. As it stands, I could list the Classic reloaded board. That works. I could list one of the two IICI boards. The other one, I want to find a different audio connector before I do that. And then the rest of these, I mean, yeah, they need another test. They need to be thoroughly gone over, make sure all the ADB ports and everything are working. Probably have Snooper run for the serial ports. I do have the Snooper little connectors, so the loopback adapter, so you can do a proper test. So that will have to occur for these at some point. Let's see. I'm going to stack these all back in. Yeah. Looks like we have a Ethernet card in here as well. That will get tested and listed at some point. We're trying to focus at the moment on stuff that's going to be easier to sell if we have to go external. Because local, I will say the market is pretty dead lately. I think a lot of people are challenged just by all the local costs for everything. Food prices, housing prices, everything's gone crazy. So no one has local spending money for this stuff. But then the problem is, our next biggest customer would be the US, and the US has slapped tariffs on everything. So even when I went to send someone a few chips, they wanted to charge me a tariff because the chips were made in Malaysia back in 1986. Which is a little bit strange in my opinion. But that's what they said. Okay, so we have a Quadra 650. We have our power connector here. It's supposed to be compatible. Supposedly. It does fit. Just because it fits does not mean that is what you're supposed to do. Now, I am curious if the tech step has Quadra 650 in here. Nope. Does not appear to have it. That's unfortunate. It doesn't have any of the 040 processors. It's got up to 030, but no 040. That's a shame. Okay. Well, let's try this. Do you take the same memory? You do not, do you? I was going to say I could throw these SIMs in, but I don't think they're compatible. I'll try it with what it has and see what it does. So I've got video, sound, which one do you think is going to be sound? I guess it's the one closest to the ADB port, but who knows? Got X's on our ADB ports, so I don't know if this will do anything, but we'll try. Yeah. Video, sound, ADB, power in theory. Man, I need to find some more power adapters because I just do not have enough PSUs to test everything here. And I really don't want to have to keep machines around all over the place just to be able to test logic boards. Okay, so let's switch to HDMI. I'm hoping we don't blow this up. I guess we'll find out. Power on. Let's see if keyboard first. Oh, that worked. Let's see if we get video. Yeah. I got a mouse. It's moving. Okay, so I don't know why it's got the ADB ports crossed out. That's weird. Let's grab our blue SCSI. And I don't know if it'll work with this version of macOS, but we'll try. Alright, turn that back on. Color's a little bit off. Nope, doesn't like 7. Okay, I've got another one on here. Let's see what other operating system I can try. 755 I think should work. Let's see. 755. Let's switch that over to be the main boot device. Switch off 701. Wish I had more of these SD cards. I would just keep one OS and put it on each one and just be able to swap it out. But that's okay. Eject. Grab that. Sticker back in. I don't like this port on the blue SCSI. It doesn't like to take the card all the time. There we go. Alright, power, key. Move that back up. Got a mouse. Happy-ish Mac. Colors are weird. It's a little green for some reason. Yes, I know. That's okay. Alright. So, maybe my adapter's not quite plugged in. Yeah, it could be. Definitely blinking when I play with it a little. Let's see, games. What do we got? Oh, Fate of Atlantis is good. Let's see. Yeah, could try it. Should work on an 040. Cannot be found. Really? Oh. I gotta fix my games folder apparently. What about... Do we have Monkey Island? Oh, okay. Yeah, the adapter's not happy. Let's turn this off. Bet you I didn't screw in that post. That's why it's not happy. It is a good adapter, but it does not like if I don't screw that one post in. There we go. That's a little tighter fit. Okay. Power on. Boot up. Now I could use Snooper, I guess, on this. I think Snooper still worked with the 040s. I think. That looks a little better. Still kind of green though. That's funny. Well, if I'm going to try Super, let me grab the loop back connectors here. Assuming I can reach it. Put it on my tall shelf. Okay. There we go. Yes, I know. Now, of course, the problem is the overhead camera needs to be turned off so I can actually see more of the dashboard. There we go. Okay. So what I have, which not everyone has, for the Super is these little guys. These are actually the ones that came with it originally when it was packed in the box. So let's do a shutdown. You can really hear the relay switch on this power supply. Okay, boot that back up. Mouse, gather welcome to Macintosh. Got our video adapter being unhappy again. Maybe I need to deoxid that port. Okay, so let's close out of Fate of Atlantis. I'll have to fix that later. Applications. Should have Snooper. I do. Snooper. Logic tests. Okay. We should be able to do all. Accelerator. Checks the functionality of supported card. Accelerator. I'll throw it out. I don't think it'll find anything, but okay. Start. Testing RAM, only able to test 8 megabytes in 24-bit mode. Ah, yeah, we didn't switch the mode, did we? That's okay. We'll let it run. Kind of also want to try a different adapter after this, see if it still has the strange blown out greenish tint to it. Well, that chokes me up. I was hoping we get to test some more boards here with the tech step. I do still have a bunch of SE30 boards that will need testing, but unfortunately I have to bring them back out of storage to do that. Because I reloaded a good 8 of those, and they need to be retested before we sell them off. So that will be a bit of a project, I think. Modem port. Good. Good. See, ADB, no problem. I don't know why they marked them as X. I'm going to take a bit of rubbing alcohol to that. And oh, there's an FPU on this? That's a full 040. Oh yeah, Quadra, that would make sense. Okay. I got 2 CIs as part of a trade in November. It needs recapping of the board and the PSU. It looks like the whole computer was stored in an area with moisture and rusted the floppy drive. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that's another thing we have to do here at some point. Craig and I've already told him. He's coming over here and he's going to help me with our 20-some floppy drives that need to be serviced. And we're just going to have a floppy disk marathon because all of those floppy disks have some sort of issue at this point. I'm not a board-level DIY person. Anyone out there willing to take on the repair? Well, it depends on where you're located there, Mike's Future Retro, because if you're in Canada, and more specifically if you're in Western Canada, I can probably take a look at it for you. I have no problem with working on another 2CI board, but the biggest issue tends to be shipping, especially into and out of Canada at this point. All right, we're on our second loop. All right. It looks good. Everything's passing, so let's stop that. Try some video. I mean, I'm curious about the video tests. Unsupported machine. Ah, interesting. So can we do this? White on black, and the black looks green. New York. Shipping is not a problem. Willing to accommodate that cost. Okay, well, if you can't find anyone local, reach out to me. You can reach me at keith@computercompulsive.ca. May take a while before I take on more work is the only thing, because we are trying to get through all these boards, for example, and a bunch of systems that we have for sale. We've still got 60 plus full computers that we need to sell off. So it's not that I'm not willing to take on work. It's I want to try and get some sales going before I take on anything more. Because we got to get stuff moving. Getting it all cleaned up and repaired and tested, so. Grayscale. Okay. The colors are funky, and I don't know if it's the adapter, or if it's my Extron, or if it's something else going on with this machine. Otherwise, it's all working. It's just funky output. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Thomas is down there. So Amiga of Rochester does a lot of board recapping. You might be good to reach out to him because then it's a lot faster turnaround. As Will points out, I think Rochester's a lot closer by for you than it is for me. Okay, can I quit out of this? Yeah. This board is working. It's just a little bit odd that we're getting discoloration, so I'm going to shut down and try a different adapter. I'll try some deoxid as well. Just find it strange. What do we got for adapters? That one. This one. Let's try this one. It usually works. It tends not to have the prettiest video output, but I'm curious if the... Come on. There you go. I am just curious if the color saturation and green tint will still be an issue or not. Come on, you gotta release this. There we go. All right, there we go. Video. SCSI. I take my loopback adapters back before I forget where I put them. And while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to remove these X's on the ADB ports because it seems to work just fine. I don't know why they X'd them out. There. Done. Thomas has been around for many years, has done many repairs for Amigas and Macs. I have no issue recommending him. He could take a bit also to return. Yeah. I think Craig was wanting to send something to him for power boards for Color Classics. I have tried looking at those Color Classic boards and I have frankly given up. The power boards on those are a pain to diagnose for me. Still a green hue. Why would there be a green hue on this? Let that finish booting and then I'm going to shut it back down. And we'll try deox it. Just seems strange. Shut down. Okay. Work it in and out a few times. Okay. There we go. Let's try a local mod or two, see if it sees anything different. Well, it's gray on my local modder. It's green on the Xtron. That's interesting. Yeah, it looks perfectly normal on my local modder. So why does the Xtron not like it? Wonder what is going on there. Because it liked the other machine just fine. Looked normal on there, but okay. Let's show you on this other modder if I can. Not that one. Yeah, so you can see here. It's perfectly gray on this machine, but when I go through the HDMI capture, it's turning green. Which is interesting to say the least. Okay, so that board is done. So this can be marked, tested, and working. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to see is what speed the processor was. I guess I could do that real quick. Oh, after I turn off the power supply. All right. Do we have Tattletech or something that can tell us the speed here? I don't think the about Macintosh will. Nope. Applications. Do I have Tattletech? I have Tattletech. Let's see. Will you run this version? Okay. It's an 04033 with FPU. So it's a full 040. That's nice at least. No one replaced the CPU on us. Cool. Okay. So, how long have we been going for here? Hour and 52 minutes. I think I'm going to call it here for today. I was hoping to get some more boards to test out with the tech step and start being able to label stuff, but I guess that's going to have to wait. There's not as many boards in there with ADB ports and the right era as I thought. There's a lot of PowerPC though, surprisingly. What's this? The 650 can take a ROM socket and be modified. ROM work some better. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Where would you be able to put a ROM socket on here? Oh, I see. Yeah, there is a spot for it right there. That's cool. I am fresh out of ROM sockets. I am fresh out of all the sockets. I have not been able to pick up more because the cost has become pretty atrocious, frankly. The same with the 30-pin SIM sockets that we were talking about there, Will. Like, the only places I can source them from, they're expensive to begin with, and then the shipping to Canada is just that much worse. Yeah. You can do that with the 575 board too, can't you? Put on a ROM SIM socket? I thought someone was telling me about that. Okay. Well, I'm going to switch back to here. I'm going to say thanks for everyone that's tuned in. Sorry I didn't have more boards to test with the tech step. I was hoping to. We did at least get through the the Mac Classic, the two 2CI boards. They are all proven working with the tech step. Do have one 2CI that is showing problems with connectivity, so I'm going to have to investigate that one further. That'll be a separate stream at some point. And then I'm probably going to go and grab SEs, SE30s, anything we have in storage right now that needs to be tested. Get that onto the tech step. That'll probably be another stream along with floppy drive repair at some point when I can, capture Craig, who keeps running around doing all kinds of stuff, and tell him, no, you got to come back and help me with floppy drives because I don't want to do those alone. There's too many. We have probably 20 that need to be serviced right now, and I don't want to do all 20. So thank you to everyone. What's Will saying here? May the 040 you can add sockets and we'll have hacked ROMs now. That's cool. All right. Thanks, folks.